Am I up? It didn't even count me in. Hey, everybody. Okay. I almost didn't make this one tonight, y'all. But I decided to stay the course, and I am on my own tonight. So if you have any questions for me, anything you want to know about me, this is the time to ask me. If you want to join, hold on a second. If you want to join, oh, you like my makeup, by the way. Melissa did her thing today. And shout out to American B Boy for my B Girl shirt. I love him. So today's topic, oh, there's so much I want to talk about. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Let's start there. How is everybody doing? I took a break last week because one of my friends, good friends, passed away. David, I called him David Dave Champion. He passed away, and we've been celebrating his life all week, and it has been highs and lows and very emotional. I'm not gonna cry, but it's very emotional. One thing I learned about death, like you have to appreciate life, right? Hey, Miss Stephanie Jones from New York. So with death, we need to appreciate life. And I am a loner. Like I suffer or I struggle with social anxieties really bad. I don't think people really get that from me when they see me out, but it is a process. I don't know. I want to say life happened, which made me this way, but it is very interesting. I spend 90% of my time alone, and I'm okay with that. But in the passing of my friend recently, I realized that that's not necessarily safe because if something happens to me, who will know? A few years ago, I suffered from a mild heart attack. And when it happened to me. I was alone. I was in the house alone. It felt like a really horrible heartburn. And that's what I thought that it was. I remember calling a good friend of mine. I'm like, hey, if you don't hear from me, something is not right. And I went online, I Googled it and things of that nature, and it literally was telling me all these things you should do if you are having heartburn, like wear loose clothing. I think it was like lay down or some different things that were telling me to do. And I literally processed in that pain the entire day. It was about 1, 2 in the morning because I had work to do. And when you are an entrepreneur, you tend to push a little bit harder than normal because I can make $1,000 today but make maybe nothing tomorrow. And so we strive harder than normal to be successful in our endeavors, and sometimes it costs us our health. So I go through the whole day, and about 1 o'clock that morning I decide to go to the emergency room. They bring me up to the machine and they're asking me, hey, like I think the EKG machine they put me up to. And when they came back, they said that my heart rhythm, everything was normal. And so I called the same friend and I'm like, hey, I think I'm good. I'm going to head back home. It really must have been heartburn because I don't see anything. Literally, while I'm on the phone with her, the doctor runs in and there was something in my blood work. And in actuality, not only had I had a mild heart attack, I I sat in it for so long that my body normalized the pain. And so when I got to take the test, that's when I found out that I indeed had a heart attack that morning. And that's what I was feeling. And none of the heartburn medication stuff was working. And ended up being in a hospital for 5 days. And what I realized and what the core of that was to me was that if something had have happened to me in that house, that no one knew where I was, no one had the address, that I would have been there alone. And so I think about that when I think about my friends passing because I'm learning how to show up. I'm learning how to be a better friend. I'm learning how to be more present, not only in my life, but in the lives of people that really care about me. And so here I am showing up. So my topic for today, but you are more than welcome to chime in if you have any questions or anything of that nature. So my topic today is it's more than meets the eyes. You ever see a situation, whether it be on social media or anything, and it never seems like what it is on the surface, and then you really don't have all the context, so you kind of picking the side prematurely? So I have a story for you. I tell the story. I think I told the story a few times. My daughter laughs, but it is what it is. I was 18. I was dating her father, and I think we broke up. I don't remember because it was so many years ago, but I think whatever it was, we had an argument, and he got in his car and he left. And I'm sitting outside just kind of like cooling out, but I am like really pissed because, like we really can't. He left, so I was pissed. I'll just leave it there. So we had 2 dogs growing up, McGee and Fifi. Fifi had passed away early on, but McGee was like my dog of all dogs. Everyone in the neighborhood knew that this black poodle was my dog. He would get off the collar. He'd walk around the neighborhood. Everyone knew that this was my dog. And this particular day, I let him off the leash, and he's walking up and down the street. And of course, I keep an eye on him because where I live, I keep an eye on him. And it's a bunch of girls coming across the street, and I see them like making references about the dog and saying things about the dog. And I'm like telling them like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't bother him. Like, don't bother him, don't bother him or whatever. And as I'm saying that, I'm getting up and I'm walking towards the girls to kind of make sure my dog is okay. And then a girl decides to pick up my dog. And he doesn't know her, so he tries to shimmy out. And I don't know if he tried to bite her. All I know was she dropped him. He hit the ground. He made one of those noises, and I lost it. And I remember vividly saying, I was like, didn't I tell you not to touch my dog? And I could never forget, it was a royal blue collar that he had, matching collar and leash. And I literally started to beat this girl with this leash. And I remember screaming at her, like, didn't I tell you not to touch my dog? And I remember hearing her friends like screaming, stop hitting her. And I am like losing it on this girl, right? Some guy comes, breaks up the fight. I grab my dog and I start walking away. And then I look and my thumb is broke. Now I just had started getting my nails done when I was like a senior in high school. Because I was like a senior in high school, freshman in college era. So I wasn't like an adult. I was still like a teenager technically. And I remember my nail being broke. And I remember that making me even more mad that I put my dog back down and I went to go fight her again, screaming, you broke my nail. I go home. I take the dog upstairs. I tell my mom, I don't even know if she remembers this. I tell my mom, I said, he got to stay upstairs from here on out. I had a fight just now because of the dog. And I said it like so nonchalantly. And then I quietly went back outside and just sat outside for the rest of the day, right? Apparently I'm okay. The next day, I'm walking to the store and I see the girl. And she's afraid of me. And I'm in a different place because I talked to my boyfriend. We talk things out. I'm in a good mood. And she kind of like shied away from me, like almost crossing the street because we were working on the same street. And at that moment, I realized that me fighting her, me beating her up, had nothing to do with the dog, had nothing to do with anything, not the nail. It was sincerely about the relationship and the breakup or the argument. I don't remember if we broke up or not. I don't remember, but whatever it was. So at the core of it, it had nothing to do with her because if I was in a different place, I probably wouldn't have attacked her. Probably wouldn't have. And when you see things on social media, I see different storylines. So this is a story that I'm going to share that I saw that's a real story. But at the end of the day, it's never what's on the surface. It's always deeper. I do not know who this girl is. I don't even know her name. I don't know if she lives in the neighborhood, but I always wish that I could apologize to her because I sincerely know that if this was a different situation, then that never would have happened if I was able to manage my emotions better or maybe even articulate the anger that I had that wasn't even towards her, that potentially I wouldn't have beat her up. So, do you guys have any stories? I see people tuning in. Do you have hey, okay, Kelly Brown, I see see you watching, Tawanda, Stephanie Jones. And so it really, I see so many situations. There was a story that I saw on social media where this girl, she was pregnant by this guy and she lost the baby. And from what she says, it became very toxic after the breakup, after the baby was lost, which I get the emotions. I don't know what that's like, but I feel like there's some emotions there, so I'm with it. And they somehow or another they get pregnant again. In this process, their relationship is completely toxic. I feel like they shouldn't have been together. I don't know why they tried for another baby. That's just my personal opinion. Only because there was so much hurt there in the beginning, I don't see why they would have more children. But Stephanie says, most reactions are caused by something else. Perfect example. Right. So I don't know what happened, but they ended up having an argument and he ended up getting a restraining order against her pretty much through her entire pregnancy. So now she's not talking to him the entire pregnancy. I want to say a month before she had the baby, he unblocked her. I don't know what that interaction was, but in that process of them not talking, she actually lost the second baby. Her thing was the fear of telling him that yet again, she lost the second baby. She doesn't say anything. She goes through, I think there's a baby shower in place. She literally goes up to the day of the supposed birth when I guess the doctor couldn't tell him because of client privilege. And so ultimately they sit him down to collectively and they let him know that she's not pregnant. Her and the guy talk about it. He goes home. He tells his family. It's on social media. And now it's like this huge like blow up. And now everybody's coming for her. And here's the thing. I do not agree with what she did. But I also feel like there was something deeper. For one, he changed after the first loss of the baby. I feel like there was some animosity there. I think that sometimes men don't understand what it is to lose a baby. I also feel like stress has something to do with it. She was stressed out. We were stressing her out. It was a stressful relationship. I do not think she should have got pregnant a second time. Do not agree to that at all. However, I side with her for her standing in her truth and acknowledging that she was wrong, but also for not, I'm with her because I know that it wasn't all her. Like, I know it wasn't all her. How do you have a baby with someone and not speak to them for months? How do you not care about their well-being? How do you think that was going to affect her? Like, I don't even understand, like, did you take any responsibility to that? And on top of that, why didn't you talk to your family about not making it public record? Because sometimes we are so quick to react on social media and to post and to blast. And we could just really have these conversations in private. I am so private. I will have fallouts, makeup, breakups, and you will never know the wiser because it's none of your business, because your opinion on my stuff, it doesn't matter. It makes it worse. When people put their opinions on stuff, it makes it worse. And so I feel like, do I think they could have been together? Could they have stayed together? I don't think they should be together. That's just me. But it always comes down to, I say it all the time, it always comes down to how you found out versus how you deal with it. So does anybody want to chime in and say anything? I'm just talking to myself. I love it. And so, like I said, it goes back to it's more than meets the eye. It's not what's on the surface. It's what's deeper, what's deeply rooted. And I just think that we really need to work on figuring out what's really wrong versus what we think is wrong, what is on the surface wrong. Like, literally, there's always a reaction. There's always a deeper rooted cause to why something happens, especially when it like kind of blows up in your face. I really feel sorry for her because social media trolled her horribly. I don't know her to reach out to her, but it's definitely unfortunate. And I really feel like, it could have been handled different. So that is my topic. Outside of that, so I went to Walmart today. Okay. What is your favorite game? I love games, like board games or whatever. So I kind of went and bought Perfection. I'm not going to play it right now because I tried to take it out of the box earlier today. Perfection. This was like one of the dopest games on top of my favorite game of all times actually was Operation. I loved Operation. But now there's like 4 or 5 different versions of it. So I'm gonna do Operation at some point in time today. But so with my topic, now we're gonna go into some business stuff. I am in the height of homecoming. Shout out NSU homecoming this weekend. I'm excited about that. Thank you for everybody for supporting me and buying my merchandise. Business. In business, right? You'll never get all 3 things. I say this all the time. People don't want to believe me. They don't want to talk to me. But you'll never get all 3 at one time. Quality, it's quality, price, and convenience. If you can tell me a business that offers all 3, I will give you a free t-shirt. I don't. Like, for example, right? When you go to Walmart, we go to Walmart for price and convenience, not for quality. Walmart doesn't have the best produce. And some of their product now, I will say they have upgraded since in the last few years. They've definitely taken time, with their vendors. But overall, we go to Walmart because, well, it was more convenient because it used to be a 24-hour store. So at any given time, you can go to Walmart and get something to eat, drink, buy a whole outfit, furnish your whole house. Now, because of COVID, they close at 11, but we go to Walmart for price and convenience. Now, what do we go to Target for? We go to Target for quality and price. I wouldn't say convenience because it's not as many as it typically would be, right? I'm excited about my perfection game, by the way. So we wouldn't go to Walmart. Hold on a second, y'all. I don't think my people. So we go to Target for price and quality because Target has really good quality stuff. And I love their collabs with the different designers. There was a one recent drop over the weekend. Of course, by the time I got online, everything was sold out, but that's okay. We go to Harris Teeter, Kroger, price, quality, not for convenience. I think there's like one Harris Teeter in this whole area, I want to say. Me and my business, Fashion Snob, I focus on price and quality. Quality for me is not only my production, but my customer service, but the quality of my product, my marketing, and things of that nature. That is why my business is sustainable, mostly because of price and because of quality. Now, convenient is not convenient. I don't have a brick and mortar, so you have to order online. So if you want something, unless you live in the neighborhood and you know me, you're not going to get it right away. So it makes it inconvenient. So for me, I focus on price and quality because those will keep people coming back. People come back all the time because of the quality of my product, because of the quality of my marketing, because of the quality of my customer service. And that's how I'm able to sustain longevity with my business because I focus on at least 2. You want to have at least 2 out of the 3. Elizabeth says, we pay more for good quality. The pill is easier to swallow if you're getting an outstanding product. Right, exactly. So you can go into Target and buy something and get to the register, but it's really good quality stuff, so it makes it worth it. You go to Walmart, feel like you got. So I have an example. I'm not going to discuss the brand that it was because I'm not trying to, have anybody come for me, but about top of the year, maybe last year, I bought a designer tee. Matter of fact, I bought a pair of sunglasses from the store. And these sunglasses cost me they were expensive. The other day that I wore them, the lenses fell out. One of the lenses fell out. I lost it. For the amount of money that I spent on those glasses, I never should have a moment where my lenses fall out. There's a repair company in place. I don't know. But back to my previous example. So I bought a graphic tee from a company. This graphic tee cost me $125, right? Now I bought it for quality, supposed, not price or convenience, because I spent $125 on it, which is not cheap for a graphic tee. In addition to the fact that it wasn't convenient because I had to wait 7 to 10 days before I got it in the mail. So I really got it for quality of the product, quality of the brand. I buy the sweat. I buy the t-shirt. Now, because I do t-shirts for a living, I knew the quality. People think there's some exclusive t-shirt vendor for these higher end people, or it's not. We kind of all use the same people. They just have different levels of tagging and things of that nature, but that's another show. However, I get the shirt. I'll wear it one time. One time. I wash it. I don't even think I dried it. I washed it and it shrunk. $125 down the drain. So now I'm not buying. So now I bought into a brand based on quality, but it's not quality. It wasn't convenient, and it definitely wasn't. It wasn't quality. So that brand that I had on a pedestal of just being of a good quality turned out not to give me all three. Most companies never give you all three. It is rare, but I implore you to focus on the ones that do. I like the ones that focus on quality first, because you always go back for the quality. Same thing with our hair, or when we get our nails done, or we get something done. If it's of good service, we will travel. We will travel to get our hair done. We will travel to get certain things. We will stand in line for certain sneakers. Like, I'm a fan of ones. I love them. They're so incredibly comfortable. I have went through some extents to get a few pair, but at the end of the day, I'm basing it on the quality of the shoe and how it makes me feel. It's not about necessarily the cost we pay for. At the end of the day, we pay for what we want. So that's my spill on those. So in business, you only get three things. You never get all three: price, quality, and convenience. If you keep those three models in place, you will definitely be a little bit better longevity. And my last thing we're going to talk about before I go, this is a quick in and out, is vendors. Vending. Quick synopsis about me. I have been in business officially, unofficially for 20 years, right? I have seen it all. Apple juice is the way to go all the time. I have been in business for unofficially, officially for 20 years. I officially, Fashion Snob is an official company, business, ran completely since September of May of 2020. That's something that I love Fashion Snob. I've been going hard with that. But prior to that, I had House of Dignity. That was my first. It wasn't my first official t-shirt company, but it's the one I took more seriously than others. And I traveled a lot with vending. I made money and I didn't make money. I recently, in quite a situation, has made me reevaluate vendors as a whole. 9 times out of 10, vendors is what pay for the events. Most of the time, they pay for the venues. Most of the time, right? When you do an event, you ask these questions. Ask them, how are they selling tickets? How are ticket sales? How many vendors are they having? Are they advertising that they have vendors? And if they are having vendors, how many of them sell what you sell? I recently went to an art show. Amazing turnout. Oh my gosh, there was so many people there. But there were like 5 t-shirt vendors. Is that fair? Because now you're making it competitive. And then they were kind of all lined up. They weren't even kind of scattered around. And so at the core of it, are you really going to make any money? Because here's the thing. This is how it works. So you have an event. The buy-in is $200. Okay, $200. It's a 2-day event in Atlanta. I live in Virginia. So now I have to worry about hotel. That's another, hypothetically, $200 a night or $100 a night, $200, right? Gas, food, car rentals, if you have to have staff. So you're literally already at minimum investing $1,000 before you even get to the event. So making $1,000 is not going to cut it. So you have to make sure that the people that are doing these things are able to fulfill, your needs as far as, the travel, and it makes financial sense. I was going to do this event a while back, and it appeared to be okay. But when I did my research, there was no advertisement of vendors at all anywhere. And so ultimately, no one knows that we're going to be there. And then it's a ticketed event. So you want me to pay to get in and then patronize the businesses? It's kind of double dipping a little bit. That's my personal opinion. If you are going to charge, it needs to be something, that's reasonable, because, people have money or people don't. And sometimes people go to these events and they prepare themselves to spend money, or not. And how many times have you vended and you'll get there and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know there wasn't going to be anybody here. And, they take your business card, but you don't get a sale. And then you're kind of looking crazy in the face because you invested all your time and didn't make any money. Hold these event planners, hold them accountable for, making sure that your vending experience is a success. That is important. It is imperative. And I know it seems like I'm rambling, but I just want to get some things off my chest because, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I don't like not seeing people win or people being taken advantage of or people spending outlandish prices on vending spaces that no one ever really, no one ever supports. And that's it. I don't have too much to say today. I think I rambled a lot, but it's okay. I got a show in the books. I'm excited about my guest next week. We'll talk about that later this week. I'm actually getting ready to do this. You said promotion? What do you mean by promotion? Because at the end of the day, I guess, because people don't, I will say that particular event, they promoted, but they didn't promote that they had vendors. So because of that, no one was prepared to spend money with them. And so I feel like they missed out on the opportunity because you get to the event and no one's promotion for the vendors. Yeah, typically when I haven't done an event in a while, but when I have an event, I usually never have more than 5, top it off at 10. 10 is kind of a stretch. And I really think you should base your vendors off of your capacity of your space, how many people are going to attend. If you're going to have 200 people, of course, because most people spend 10%. So if there's 200 people, studies show that out of that 200 people, 10% of them will actually shop. That's 20 people. If you have 30 vendors, that means that 10 people will be without. So do a ratio on your vendors versus your attendees versus the space to make sure that if people do come, they can actually maximize. And don't have 5 of the same vendors. Spread it out, sort it out, give people a variety. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so maybe start a vendor list. So, okay, I might have this t-shirt person this time and then this t-shirt person the next time, or this person that does jewelry this time, or if I have 2 jewelry, you'll be on one end and then they'll be on the other. Like, we really just need to get away from that. If you are paying to be a vendor at an event, you are also paying for the fact that they promote the event, so they failed on their end of the deal. And see, Elizabeth, that happens more than people want to really admit, where the promoters, they're quick to get that money from you. You invest in those vendors, you invest in this experience, and then sometimes you don't hear from the person until you get an email the day before the event. Sometimes you have to follow up with them and you haven't heard anything, and you look up. That's why, as a business owner and as somebody, a vendee, I guess that's what we call it, you have to take initiative for yourself. I literally asked how many tickets were sold. I don't think that it's something you want to necessarily, it's not a public thing. You're not trying to be mean, but you want to know, how many tickets have you sold? Are we at 50% capacity? Are we at 70% capacity? Like I said, how many people, is it a ticketed event? How much are tickets? Because you also want to know. I remember I did this event in Atlanta, right? I did this event in Atlanta. The lady next to me, I think she was selling jewelry. I don't really remember what she was selling, but I remember her leaving disappointed because she didn't make any money. Know your market. And I'm not saying to necessarily sell yourself short, but just be realistic about, if everyone in this building is spending an average or selling products between an average of $20 and $30, it's going to be a hard sell for you to get a sale if your one item is $100. People ask me all the time, quick information about me. People ask me all the time, why do I sell my hoodie for $35? I have been in the fashion industry since I was 13. I'm 44. I've never felt, as me as a person, that we have a good medium of good quality, affordable product. We either have to go to the bottom, no pun intended against a Ross, or you might catch some fines. I'm not a shopper there, or Rainbow. They're definitely have increased on their quality of stuff, but the longevity is not there. But then if you want to go higher up, you might, buy an $80, $90 hoodie that's not really when you get to the gist of it, it's actually really bad quality. I bought this hoodie from a company. I really wanted the hoodie. I'm the type of person, I buy what I want, not about who makes it. I buy what I want. I really wanted this sweatshirt. I really, really want this. I spent $75 for this sweatshirt. Not only was it a third-party sweatshirt, which means that they're not creating it, it was made in such poor quality that I had to, distress it and fix it for me to wear it. However, for $70 plus shipping, I should have been able to take that hoodie out of the bag, put it on my back, and walk out the door. And I did not. And I just feel like we have to hold these people accountable for that. And so for me, my thing's always been affordable, quality clothing. On top of the fact that I still, to this day, make all of my product. I still make, we are like 5,000, 4,000 products in, and I still make everything by hand because I have yet to meet a vendor that can match my quality and my turnaround. And so until I find that, I will continue to make things by hand because for me, as I said earlier, price and quality are in my top two for to be a successful business owner. And even like Elizabeth said, when it comes to vending, you have to ask these questions because you will invest all of your time, tent, staff, food, all these different things come into play because people work for me in my events. My staff gets paid. I feed them. I pay for parking, transportation, hotels. I'm literally potentially sometimes spending between $500 to $700 to get to an event, and I haven't even did the event yet. So then I'm sitting there stressing out. It has to make sense, or it's a loss. Small businesses cannot take too many losses. Yes, but they expect us. They expect us to all the time. They expect us to all the time. It's like almost no regard for a small business versus a bigger business. They always seem to have more grace. That might be a topic for a different discussion. Why, as small businesses, we don't have grace when it comes to different things. Very unfortunate. I am blessed that I don't have a high turnover rate with my business. Maybe some months I go with no returns at all, no exchanges. People are 100% satisfied with their product. If they're not, I do my best to accommodate them. Even though my website says I don't deal with certain things, I do because I don't have a high turnover rate. And I know that people do make mistakes. And sometimes things do get messed up and sometimes things do go wrong. And so for that, I'm definitely lenient with that. But when it comes to this vending thing, Elizabeth, man, the math don't be mathing. And I don't want to seem like I'm just the black sheep or the, don't vend. No, just make sure that it makes sense. Ask those questions because 2 situations in the last, 3 or 4 months where there was opportunities for me to vend. And when I asked those questions, it was kind of almost comical, like, oh, so one guy, I asked him, what the rate was. I asked him, how many vendors did he have? What was the ticket prices and stuff like that. And he definitely laughed at me. He was just like, oh, if it was sold out, I would charge you more. What? So I'm asking you about your current rates, right? And you're telling me that if the event had sold out, you would charge me more. Shouldn't it be like a set price no matter whether you make people? Shouldn't it be a set price whether you have sell out or not? Shouldn't that be already established? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against you offsetting your prices to accommodate your costs. That makes the most sense. I'm not saying do that, but don't do it at the cost of me and my brand. Because if I'm doing an event, that means I need all new product. I need to know the type of event it is. If it's a theme, if it's okay, so it's breast cancer awareness month. It is domestic violence month. I'm doing an event. I gotta make sure that I got purple and pink product. I also gotta know what my audience is. I can't go to a church event with the fuck around and find out t-shirt on the table. That don't even make sense. I have to know my market. I have to do the research. I have to be aggressive about my presentation as well. But you're not going to head pop me and make you pay you, and you haven't even advertised that it's not a vendor. So I went to the website. I went to the ticket link. I went to the flyer. I went to the Facebook page. And nothing said nowhere that there was a vendor. Nowhere. People are going to show up, but no one's going to patronize me. So here I am investing because we want to present, I am not perfect, but I am a perfectionist about my business. My presentation, I live and eat and breathe. I don't know how many times I say it. Presentation. I know when you're not investing in me and my product or yourself. So why would I be into you and your event and you don't even care about yourself? Anyway, y'all. So just be mindful of those things. I am always open to share the wealth because here's the thing. When you get to the top of that mountain, you will see there is space for everyone. I never have a problem now sharing information because I had to start over and over and over and over again. And I made mistakes that was and was not my fault. But the reality is know your market, know who you don't feel, no, know your worth. Let me start there. Know your worth. As a business owner, know your worth. Do not settle. Don't feel like you have to vend every weekend. Trust your product, trust your brand, trust your presentation. Don't get got, don't get head pop. It'll be great to do a vending event, but make sure that it makes sense because if it doesn't, you're gonna walk away feeling betrayed and it's gonna leave a bad taste in your mouth moving forward. And there's money for everyone. But just make sure you're just mindful about, how it makes sense to you. And that's all I got for tonight. A little bit definitely unscripted. Like I said, I was gonna take a break, but I gotta keep my algorithms going and I gotta kind of build up for next week. So I thank you guys so very much. Elizabeth, I don't know who you are, but I thank you for tuning in. Stephanie Jones and Kelly and Tawanda, I thank you guys so much. Use your guys' names that I saw pop up. And it is your girl Diggs. Dig it or don't dig it. I'm about to play Perfection, by the way. I just need y'all to know that. Y'all wanna, matter of fact, hold on a second, y'all. I'm about to play Perfection. Wait, I ain't got no box or nothing, y'all. What was our favorite? Okay, so we're not playing Perfection because the toys they done fell apart. Anyway, it's your girl Diggs. Dig it or don't dig it. I will see you guys next Tuesday at 8 with my new guest, and we're gonna be chopping it up about something. Matter of fact, my topic next week, I call it karaoke. If you cannot offer a solution, why are you complaining? It's your girl Diggs. Dig it or don't dig it. Ooh-wee.